All right, welcome to the July Watch of the Month Club, August edition. Yeah, sorry guys, I'm about a week late on this. I was on vacation last week and didn't have time to get the video out. Excuses, yada yada. But here we are, and I'm going to try and catch back up. So hopefully later on in August we'll be releasing the actual August Watch of the Month Club. So you'll get 2 Watches of the Month Club in August, and I'll get back on schedule after that. If you're new to this segment of the channel, hi, my name's Dave. Once a month I do this segment where we look at watches in a certain category, and I try and recommend 2 watches at a bronze tier and a silver tier. And the idea is that this is supposed to be kind of like an alternative to a subscription service. So rather than you setting aside like $120 a month or sending in $120 a month or $60 a month to a service, to a company where they send you a random watch every month, I'm just going to recommend 2 watches at those price ranges, and then you can decide to purchase it on your own. And if you don't like the watch that month, just skip it, or maybe pick up a different watch. Yeah, so you can kind of, if you're interested in getting a watch every single month, what you can do is just think of budgeting either $60 a month or $120 a month, picking up one of these watches that you can buy on your own. And again, it gives you a little bit more freedom there. And I think it's usually a better way to build a collection and to spend your money. Additionally, we always like to look at other watches that didn't quite make the cut. So we're going to be looking at, I think, about 10 watches total today. So we try and, again, pick a category. This month's category is pilots watches. So we're going to be looking at kind of the top 10 pilots watches under $200. And particularly, we'll look at 2 that made the recommendation for this month. I always like to get your guys' suggestions, and so if you're watching this, please drop me a comment down below to let me know what should be featured in next month's, or I guess later this month's, in the August Watch of the Month Club. And this month we're going to take a look at Panda dials. So the August one is going to be Panda dial watches. So that would be a watch that has a white face with black subdials. It can be a chronograph, it can be a multifunction, anything that's Panda dial. Reverse Panda also okay. So black face, white subdials, that one works too. I think this will be kind of a fun one, a little bit different. So let's see what you guys got. Give me recommendations for Panda dial watches at $60 or less, or $120 or less. All right, so let's go ahead and just jump into this month's category, and that is pilots watches. So this was a kind of a difficult one. It's hard to find pilots watches, I think, in this $60 or less, or this $120 or less category, but there are some good options there. So yeah, let's see what we came up with. Again, we'll start with my 2 recommendations, and then we'll move on to the honorable mentions after that. So the first recommendation, let's start with the bronze category, and that's going to be the Ruimas Flieger. And there were a number of people that suggested this one. I've seen Jody over at Just One More Watch do a review of it, and that's where I was initially made aware of it. Relative Time and Donovan Neese, both of you guys commented on the last month's video recommending this one. So this is a Chinese watch. You're getting a sapphire crystal, you're getting a nice 39 millimeter case size, you're getting a Seiko NH35 movement inside of it, and you're getting a pretty classic Type B dial design with a little bit more colorful than your traditional black and white one. So it's actually got a fairly nice look to it as well. This one you can pick up on Alixpress for $62, so we're fudging a little bit here. I think they have a $1 off coupon, so you can actually get down to $61, still slightly over our $60 limit, but yeah, I think you'll forgive me for that one. This one minor drawback is it only has a 30-meter water resistance, so you're definitely not going to be wanting to get this one wet. This one, I'm putting the link down below to Alixpress because that's where you're going to find this at that price. It's kind of come to my attention as I've been doing this that there's some people who have been commenting that aren't familiar with ordering from AliExpress or with these Chinese watches in general. There are some trade-offs here. One, the biggest one being you're going to have to order directly from China most of the time to get it at that low price, and that's the case here to get this one from AliExpress. So you're going to order it from a Chinese company. It's going to ship from China. It might take up to a month to reach you, which is one problem. The other problem is that if there's a problem with the watch, you have to deal with that company in China to get the refund or to get an exchange or to figure that out, and that can be a little bit of a hassle as well. And then to top it all off, these tend to be more likely to have problems because part of that low price is they're typically not doing as much quality control as a major brand would, so you are having an increased likelihood of getting a watch that you're going to have to deal with the company from China. If you're willing to take all of those risks, oftentimes you can get a pretty incredible deal, and that's what we're seeing here. Also, if you just really don't want to deal with Chinese watches at all, stay tuned for the honorable mentions category because we're going to look at a lot of major brand watches as well, some of them also in the $60 or less price range. Let's move on to the silver category. So silver is $120 or less, and this month for that, we're going to be looking at the Citizen BM739022X. And this is one that I wasn't aware of. So I was all set up to recommend the Citizen Avion, which is Citizen's more popular Flieger style watch. More classic, larger, 45 millimeter. And that one, usually you can find it for $100, around $100 or even less. But recently the price has shot up on that to now where it's at $150. So at that price, I don't think it's that good of a buy. So instead, we're looking at the BM7390-22X. I don't know if this has a catchy name like the Avion does, but this is one that I wasn't aware of until Joe3006 recommended it in the comments last time. So thank you for bringing that one to my attention. This is actually a really cool looking Flieger from Citizen. It's kind of a little bit more of a modern design. It's a little bit smaller. You're getting it down to 42 millimeters. Very clean dial layout. Yeah, not a lot of nice touches. And this one has a compass markings on the bezel. Sorry, this one has a compass markings on the chapter ring. So overall, really cool look to it. And again, you're getting Citizen's Eco Drive, you're getting the 100-meter water resistance, and you're getting it all this for around $100. So I think you can pick this one up on either Amazon. I think Long Island Watch also has it for about $100 as well. So yeah, I definitely recommend you guys check this one out, especially if you're in the market for a good, simple, solid $100 Flieger style watch, aviation style watch. I think this is a great, has a really great, clean, kind of modern look. A lot of great features to it and a really attractive price as well. So that's going to take our silver recommendation this month. So now let's move on to the honorable mentions, and I always like to start with the kind of unofficial gold category. I haven't officially decided to create a gold category, but we've kind of been doing it unofficially for the last few months anyways. So this is a watch that was too expensive to make it onto either of our other lists. This is the one that I'm probably the most interested in purchasing myself. And so this is the San Martin Bronze Pilot's Watch. So this is another Chinese watch. You can pick it up on Alixpress or Amazon. Actually, I think the price is pretty comparable there, so I'm going to put the Amazon link to this one for $180. So price is definitely jumping up, but you're getting a lot for that money. One, you're getting a bronze case, which is very unusual in a Flieger anyways, especially in one that's sub $200. You're getting a Seiko NH35 movement, you're getting a sapphire glass, and you're getting Swiss Superluminova, C3 Superluminova on the dial and hands. So decent lume, also 200-meter water resistance. So great water resistance, decent lume, sapphire glass, bronze case, good movement. Yeah, a lot to like about this watch at $180. So I think definitely worth the money. Also unofficial gold category of this month. Again, talking about pilot style watches under $200. We've got to throw in the Citizen Nighthawk, which I'm wearing now. This is one of my favorite watches. It's a very modern take on the pilot's watch. I've done multiple reviews on it and videos on it. I'll link to one of the previous reviews here. Definitely check it out. The price on this has dropped way down to a great level. You can pick it up for around $190 on Amazon, which I think is a fantastic value right now. So definitely recommend this one as well if you haven't. If you're into something that's more of a modern pilot style watch that has more of a busier look to it. This one has a slide rule bezel. You're getting a cool GMT feature, 200 meters of water resistance, really solid bracelet and clasp, all kinds of good stuff. Again, check the reviews that I've done on this before if you're interested in it. I won't spend too much time on it. But yeah, I had to throw that one in there. Kind of along those lines, so the Citizen Nighthawk, the biggest competitor to that is the Seiko Flightmaster, and those two have been often compared to each other, and it's always been, it's often been, a tough choice to decide between the two of them. For whatever reason, it seems like the Flightmaster has increased in price, so that one now is like $250, whereas the Nighthawk has dropped in price to where you can get it for under $200. So I think that makes the Nighthawk an even better buy. But Seiko does have another similar model that is kind of a budget version of the Flightmaster. So we're going to go and put those two up side by side. So you have the Flightmaster, the original Flightmaster, the true Flighty, is the SNA411. And then this less expensive one is the SND253. So the SND253, you can pick this one up for $130 versus the SNA411's $250. Similar look on both of them. You're getting Pilot's slide rule bezel on both of these. You're getting Seiko's pretty awesome lume on both of the dials here. So the SND253 is 41 millimeters. I think the Flightmaster SNA411 is 42 millimeters, so slight difference there. The lower priced, kind of the budget version, the Flighty Jr, if you want to call it that, that one only has 100 meters of water resistance versus the SNA411's 200 meters of water resistance. The 411 has a much better bracelet and clasp, solid end links, solid bracelet, milled clasp, whereas the SND253 has hollow end links, pressed clasp, and possibly even a hollow link bracelet. A lot of people have complained about the bracelet on that one, so big trade-off there. You're getting 100 meters of water resistance on the SND253 versus 200 meters on the SNA411. SNA411 also has an alarm function that the SND253 does not. They're both chronograph watches. They're both, really nice looking Seiko watches. But yeah, I really, for this one, the recommendation is, to keep it in that under $200 price range. The SND253 is, I think, the one that I would be looking at. All right, let's go ahead and move into some watches that are in the lower prices. And yeah, look at a couple that were competing in the bronze tier. First of all, being the Orient Flight Quartz version. So there used to be an automatic version of this one. That one seems to be sold out and maybe discontinued. And even the Quartz one is kind of hard to find. It seems like Joma Shop is the best place to look for it. You can pick that one up for right around $60. Just really classic Flieger style, good company in Orient, major brand that has good history and heritage, good quality control, really safe entry-level grab-and-go pilot's watch. This is one that I've wanted to pick up a number of times and have come very close. There's a lot of different dial color options and different band options. Maybe the best, safest entry-level pilot's watch on this list. For $60, it's hard to go wrong. All right, next we're going to take a look at the Timex Expedition Field Chronograph, which you can purchase for $53, so this makes it the cheapest watch on the list today. You might argue whether or not this is a pilot's watch, or whether it qualifies. I'm going to throw it in here. I think that the design and the style of it is very clearly drawing from a lot of elements from pilot-style watches. You're getting a 60-minute track instead of your typical 12-hour track for the markers. Has these kind of skeletonized, aviation-inspired hands, and I think the second hand on the chronograph actually looks like an airplane. It might be, people might argue that it's an arrowhead, but I think it looks like an airplane. So overall, I think this is kind of an aviation-inspired chronograph to me, and so we're going to go and put it on there, get something in there from Timex. $53, a really amazing deal. You're getting Indiglow, you're getting 100 meters of water resistance, which is great for a Timex watch, much higher than their typical, usually around 30 meters of water resistance. But yeah, so that'll be one recommendation. Check out the Timex Expedition Field Chronograph as well. All right, next we're going to take a look at a watch that was really it was hard to pick between this one and the Ruimas that made our bronze tier recommendation. This is a very similar watch. It's another Chinese watch. This is the Corgeut. I don't know. I think it's a French name, but it's definitely a Chinese watch. So anyways, yeah, so they have a pilot style watch. This one is a Type A Flieger, so you have a very simple printed 12-hour track with your triangle up top. Again, you're getting a sapphire crystal. This one you're getting 50 meters of water resistance, so slightly better than the Ruimas there. You're also getting sapphire crystal, and inside you're getting a Miyota 821A movement. So rather than the Seiko NH35, you're getting the Miyota. I think the Seiko is probably a slightly better movement, but both are great movements. And this one you can pick up for right around the same price, right around $60 or so, a little bit over $60 from Alixpress. And then if you're willing to pay more, you can pick it up from Amazon instead. Finally, we're going to go ahead and look at a watch that, again, this is another one that was recommended last time. This one recommended by Just a Second. And this is the Aeromatic 1912 A1373X. So Aeromatic 1912, it's a brand that I remember checking them out a while ago, maybe about a year ago when I was trying to look through pilot's watches and I came across them on Amazon. They have a lot of different designs that are all really great traditional looking pilot's watches. They look like, very similar to something that you would get from like Laco or one of these more established German brands. And they claim to have some German heritage in their company. I don't know how much is left, especially at the prices that they're offering these things, because this one, again, you're getting a very classic looking Flieger style automatic watch with the Seiko NH35 movement, 50 meters of water resistance. Yeah, and again, they're claiming that it's a German heritage company. Kind of questionable there. But all that for like $80, which is a great price. This one, I think it does have a mineral crystal, not a sapphire, so it's not quite as great of a deal as some of these Chinese ones, but I think the look and the style of it is actually a lot better than most of the Chinese ones in this price range that I've seen. So I really like this one. And they have a lot of different options, a lot of these kind of real vintage looking pilots, Flieger style watches. So definitely check them out as well. They seem to not have a high quantity of them, so they might sell out of this one, but there's other similar designs that are similar prices, so you can bounce around and look for those on Amazon as well. All right, so that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for this month's Watch of the Month Club. Thank you guys, as always, for watching. Let me know if you actually happen to pick up one of these watches. In recent months, I have been joining my own Watch of the Month Club. I picked up the Citizen Bryson from our Chronographs one, and so we'll begin a review of that sometime later this month, hopefully. I don't know if I'm going to pick up anything from this month. Again, that San Martin looked really tempting. But yeah, let me know if you guys do and what you guys think of it. If you've gotten any of these watches or if you have any direct experience with them, drop some comments below. But especially let me know if you know of any good Panda dial watches or reverse Panda dial watches at either $60 or less or $120 or less, which you would recommend if you can find that. Again, I think this is going to be a little bit tougher of a category. It's a much narrower category. It's harder to find Panda style watches. There's not as many of them out there as there are, say, like dive watches or something like that. So we'll see what we can come up with. Help me out there, and we'll come back. I guess it'll be later on this month for our August edition of the actual August edition of the Watch of the Month Club, and we'll look at Panda watches, Panda dial watches then. But that will wrap it up for this month. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll talk to you next time.